join me in the pledge? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor.
We have minutes from February 7th. Was there also minutes from the January meeting? Oh, okay. February 7th. Had a chance to look those over, and is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I've reviewed the minutes and found them acceptable, and therefore I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye. The consent agenda is prepared and it was sent out to us on Friday. Are there any items that we need to remove from the consent agenda and consider individually? Or can we make a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as shown.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye. And the non-consent agenda starts on
page 6.
page 6. Yep, at the bottom of page 6. Item 16. It's a resolution to pay our bills, 22-18, in the amount of $1,891,507.97. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 22-18?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye. And 17. Another resolution to pay our bills, 23-18, in the amount of $93.74. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
I think I'd much rather make a motion for 17 than 16.
All righty.
At $93, but I'll make the motion for item 17.
And I'll second.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Mr. Painter,
Abstain.
Item 18.
Morning, I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with the Clermont County Water Resources Department, and I'm going to pass around just a map for this project. It'll help better explain the limits of the project. I'll go ahead and read the motion. Item number 18 is a recommendation to execute a contract for professional services between the Board of County Commissioners and Bayer Becker Incorporated out of Mason, Ohio. And this is relative to the State Route 48 and State Route 28 water main replacement project located in Goshen Township, in accordance with the consultant's proposal dated January 9th, 2018, for a total amount not to exceed $76,386, with said services to be completed within 126 consecutive calendar days upon issuance of a written notice to proceed from the Clermont County Water Resources Department. And this is exclusive of county review time, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and contingent upon the release of the purchase order. So the light blue lines on the map represent the limits of the project, but in general, it's from State Route, or it's along State Route 28 from Smith Road to Short 48. There is a portion along that route that won't be replaced near Charles Snyder Road. That was replaced a few years ago as part of an ODOT project. And then we'll also be replacing along 48 from 28 north to Fay Road. So this will replace 8-inch and 6-inch water main that was installed in 1959. We'll be replacing that with 8-inch and 16-inch water main.
So it was 6 and 8, and you're going to replace it with 8 and
16.
16. So do we have a motion to execute the contract for professional services as contained in item 18?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye. Item 19.
morning, Suki Sheets with the Office Management Budget. Item 19 is a continuation of a couple resolutions we've done earlier, or one earlier this year. This is to authorize the purchase of 7 more new motor vehicles as additions and replacements to the county fleet. This is for the county engineer out of the MV&G funds and for county water resources out of their funds. We have 2 trucks for the water resources for $75,000, and we have 5 vehicles for the engineer, 2 dump trucks for $330,000, and 3 small to mid-sized trucks for a total of $417,000 out of that fund. For a right now an estimated of $492 for all 7 of those. These are to be purchased this year out of their appropriations and in compliance with ORC. I did talk to the engineer about the concern about him being able to continue to purchase this level of equipment based on what he had requested to be appropriated this year. He has come back yesterday and reduced the appropriation, so we'll bring that to the board as soon as we process it, from 10.9 million down to 10.4 million. So that will help with his drawdown, because originally when we started the appropriation this year, the plan was, it was appropriated as he requested with a revenue stream as he requested, which would have drawn his fund balance down about $900,000. He only has a carryover about 1.7. So that would have been really tight for him to continue operations at that small level. So now with this revised appropriation, the plan to draw the fund is not as big.
We have a motion to adopt resolution 24-18 for the county engineer as contained in item 19.
So moved.
Second. Discussion, and
Sure.
you've looked at it and you're satisfied with it.
I am. It's still going to be tight, and he understands that his revenue stream is limited. He gets motor vehicle and gas tax as his main source of revenues. He does have some OPWC road projects where he has to come up with the local match, which is part of this year's appropriation. Those don't always go at this level. It was, I believe, $300,000 of this appropriation is OPWC match. So, you know, he knows he has to watch what he's doing with his expenses.
Yes.
And try to live within his revenue stream. He is aware of potentially increasing the registration tax, so we may hear from him before the end of the year.
And that was the issue there when I made the question about it. You know, it was going to draw him down below that $1 million level, so that was why I had a question about.
But what he's doing with the number in his fleet, and I can't argue this, he has a fleet that's large enough that he needs to continually replace a couple of dumps every year to keep them in an operational status, and he's been doing that. So that's another reason why his fund balance hasn't been growing.
And then going back and looking at the revenue as far as road tax, it's been flat since 2008. This, in my concern was just that this drawdown would get to such that the $5 license plate tax would not become something that was a consideration. It would become something that was a necessity.
Right.
And so, you know, addressing it now is, you know,
He needs to
better
do a
path
long-term
forward.
plan, and we'll work with him to do that, to see where he's gonna be without that $5 tax. And then, you know, if that has to happen, that's gonna be something the board's gonna have to.
$5 tax was designed, wasn't this specifically for asphalt? Is that something separate?
No, I don't think this one was restricted.
Okay.
The last increase that was done was on the registrations for road purposes, that was, or not road, bridge
Bridges.
purposes, and that
Bridges.
was restricted.
So of the 7 new vehicles,
5 of them are the engineer.
how many are replacements versus how many are addition?
All of his, I believe, are replacements. And it's the water resources where we have a new one, because we're ramping up that crew.
So when we do the replacements, I guess, the trade-in value is incorporated into the total price, right? The trade-in value is.
Not here, because we have to estimate what it's gonna be to price a new one. If we traded it, we don't trade it in, we sell it at auction. When we sell it at auction, that all goes back to the
Separate
engineer.
account.
Yeah, it goes in as a revenue stream to the engineer.
Okay.
So do we vote on that?
We have a motion, we can
We have a
do.
motion and
We
a
have
second.
a motion and a second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 20.
Morning, Lisa Gatwood, Director of Clermont Transportation Connection. It's my recommendation, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, Interim County Administrator, to adopt a revised table of organization for the Clermont Transportation Connection to number 1, delete 1 vacant vehicle operator full-time, part-time CDL position, classification 49131, pay range 4. And number 2, to add 1 vehicle operator non-CDL, CDL trainee position, classification 49130, pay range 3. And 3, to clarify and accurately display the number and names of each supervisor as outlined above and in Exhibit A attached thereto and made a part thereof, effective 2/14/18, and to further authorize the update of the appropriate internet links and appendices accordingly.
Okay, do we have a motion to adopt the table of organization and the rest of item 20?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. 21?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Brendan Hepner, ISD Director, here on behalf of John Cascaden, Director of DPSS, with concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, Interim County Commissioner, to execute Amendment 1 to the agreement by and between Clermont County Board of County Commissioners on behalf of DPSS with the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services, Office of Technology, Multi-Agency Radio Communication Systems Program Office for the purchase of Premier One computer-aided dispatch CAD system services previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 11/4/2015 to add Article 2.8 to the scope of services to allow for cascading queries through the Premier One CAD and Premier One mobile systems at no additional cost therefore, and with all other terms and conditions thereof to remain in full force effect. Basically, this allows the officers, every time they run a plate or run somebody through mobile CAD, it'll check our local database for warrants that are sent out by our courts.
Good. We have a motion to adopt amendment number 1 to the agreement as contained in item 21.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 22.
Hi, I'm Julie Fry, the Director of the Common Pleas Court Adult Probation Department, and I'm here today with the concurrence of Tom Eigel, asking you to execute a contract for professional services by and between the Board of Commissioners of Clermont County and Northland Treatment Center, which is in Milford, Ohio. And the services are for medication-assisted treatment, and in the amount of $50,000. And it's for the period of January of 2018 through June 30 of 2019, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order. And this is a contract where we will be using the funds that we received through the Justice Reinvestment and Incentive Grant through the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. And it's similar to the contract that you approved a couple of weeks back with Brightview Health Services.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to execute the contract for professional services as contained in item 22?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 23.
Once again, I'm here with the concurrence of Mr. Eigel to ask you to execute an addendum to the subsidy grant agreement for community-based corrections programs by and between the County of Clermont and the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, the Division of Parole and Community Sanctions, the Bureau of Community Sanctions. It was previously ratified by the county commissioners on July 26th of 2017 for the Community Corrections Act 407 non-residential felony grant relative to the prison diversion programs. And our program is entitled the Intensive Supervision Probation and Non-Support Success Through Employment Program. And this is on behalf of the Clermont County Court of Common Pleas Adult Probation Department and as the designated implementing agency. And this amount represents an increase in the grant that was previously awarded in the amount of $119,817 for a total revised grant award amount of $599,080 with no local match required. And this effective date of this grant is July 1st of 2017 through June 30 of 2019, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Thank you for being diligent to find these grants.
Yeah, and what happened was that they originally cut our original amount this time around by 20%. Pending the state of Ohio's budget, they were unsure with the TCAP and with their own budget needing to be passed whether or not they would have enough to fund us at 100%, which is a grant we've had since I think 1989, if I remember right. But they did end up having enough money to give back that 20%, not to all the programs throughout the state of Ohio, because this was a statewide cut, but we were one of the lucky programs that was given that additional 20% back.
Okay.
And this is the addendum for that.
Because we're so effective, right?
I hope so.
Do we have a motion to execute the addendum to the subsidy grant agreement for community-based corrections program as contained in item 23?
I'd love to make that motion for item 23.
Second.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 24.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks.
Item 24 is a recommendation to execute record plat number 629-3034, and this is for the replat of a lot in the Charles A. Bell subdivision located within Union Township.
Okay. Do we have a motion to execute the record plat as contained in item 24?
So moved.
Second the motion.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. And 25.
25 is a recommendation to execute record plat number 629-3035, and this is for the replat of a lot in the Triple Crown Estate subdivision located within Pierce Township.
Okay. Do we have a motion to execute the plat as contained in item 25?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 26.
Item 26 is a recommendation to authorize Edwin H. Humphrey, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute joint applications with the prosecuting attorney to the Clermont County Court of Common Pleas for the employment of special counsel to represent the board in its official capacity and to advise it on legal matters. And the first law firm is Frost, Brown, and Todd, and this is for legal counsel for matters relative to environmental, and that is an amount not to exceed $15,000. And Lock Lord, preparation of all documentation in support of the underwriting of bonds and financial obligations, amount not to exceed $1,000. And Kegler, Brown, Hill, and Ritter, and this is for legal counsel for matters relative to the closure of the coal ash storage units located at the Beckjord Power Station. And this is for an hourly range of $220 to $590 per hour.
And do we have a motion to execute the joint application with the prosecuting attorney and Common Pleas Court as contained in item 26?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter?
Before that vote, just a matter of discussion. Legal counsel for matters related to the closure of the coal ash storage. Lyle, since you're here, is that consistent with the use we have right now? Correct. Okay.
However, that third column, not to exceed, maybe I'm missing something, but for Kegler Brown, they're just telling us an hourly rate, but we're not notifying or qualifying the total amount we're not going to exceed that year, correct?
I'll be bringing a professional services agreement for the board here. I think this is the first step in the process, and then I'll bring a contract before the board. And I'll do it as
This is the same amount from last year.
Okay.
Didn't change one.
How often do we get into the $590 an hour range? It seems,
I haven't
yeah,
seen that one.
okay.
This is the same agreed amount as 17 with them also. Okay. All right.
Roll call.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes,
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 27.
Yvonne Smith, Benefit Plan Coordinator for Clermont County Employees. It's my recommendation, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, Interim County Administrator, to authorize Edwin Humphrey, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to accept the terms of the Master Service Agreement, the base pricing for United Healthcare participating members, Attachment A, and the performance standards for the healthcare benefits, Exhibit C, between United Healthcare Services, UMR, and the Health Action Council, to execute Attachment B to the Master Services Agreement, the HAC Participating Member Addendum, and the Business Associates Agreement by and between Clermont County and United Healthcare Services for the provision of services relative to the county's employee medical health care plans, made available to all eligible Clermont County employees and dependents for services as listed in Exhibit A, United Healthcare Statement of Work, with compensation for said services as defined in Exhibit B, Service Fees, attached thereto and made part thereof, effective for the period of 1/1/2018 through 12/31 of 2018, with rate guarantees through 12/31 of 2020, pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth therein and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order therefore.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the terms of the master service agreement as contained in item 27?
so moved.
Second.
Yvonne, can you give us a little explanation on that?
Prior to this year, we have had our medical plan through Humana, as you know, for 13 or 14 years. This year, we went out to bid, and we went through actually received a quote through a consortium, which is the Health Action Council. Health Action Council has an agreement with United Healthcare. So that is the master services agreement. We piggybacked on that and were able to get pretty competitive rates for our healthcare plan for 2018, and then we are also guaranteed through 2020 as well.
So basically, this is our contract with United Healthcare for our medical insurance.
Yes, it is.
And this is our last contract that we need, the board needs to authorize for our medical?
We need one more contract, and that is for stop loss,
Okay,
and
Roll
that's in
call.
the works.
Mr. Yubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
aye. Item 28.
Thank
A
you.
quick question, I know it's after the fact, but Yvonne, I should think if our program started January 1,
Yes, it did.
wouldn't all this stuff have to have been signed before we started the program with United Healthcare?
Well, actually, they have not been paying claims yet. They're waiting for this contract to go through. So we're under the assumption that we're with United Healthcare because that was the decision back in September, October. But United Healthcare is holding claims until this agreement is approved.
And typically, Mr. Ubel, because this is a new contract and it's so complex, we've had Humana every year, so typically we'll get this contract signed a little bit earlier, but because we had to work this out with legal, it took a little longer.
Okay.
So our goal is always to try to get our healthcare contract signed by the last session in December. But this took a little bit longer.
Yes, there was legal language in the agreement that the Civil Division didn't like, so they had to rework that.
Okay. Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Okay, item 28.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Judy Tahat, Human Resources, and this is a recommendation of Judy Eshman, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, Interim County Administrator, to authorize the preparation and processing of Munis personnel action forms as outlined in Exhibit A in compliance with Article 29 entitled Wages of the Collective Bargaining Agreement by and between the county and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8, Local 3536, who represent the bargaining unit employees of the Department of Job and Family Services for the period of January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2018, previously ratified by the board on August 24 of 16, to reflect contract year 2018 wage increases for eligible bargaining employees based on merit performance evaluations as prepared for the evaluation period January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017, with said adjustments to rates of pay to be effective January 1st, 2018.
Okay, do we have a motion to authorize the preparation and processing of Munis personnel action forms as contained in item 28?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. 29?
Morning.
Morning.
Bob Sander, Human Resources. Item 29 is a recommendation with the concurrence of Thomas Heigel, Interim County Administrator, to amend Appendix 4.10 of the Clermont County Personnel Policy and Procedures Manual entitled 2018 Schedule of Rates of Pay, with no change in the minimum, median, and maximum rates for employees not covered by a collective bargaining agreement, as outlined in Exhibit A, which is attached thereto and made a part thereof, and to authorize the update of the appropriate internet links and appendices accordingly. We will use those numbers to look at the merit rate pay in the next recommendation.
Okay, do we have a motion to amend Appendix 4.10 of the Clermont County Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual as contained in item 29?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. Item 30.
Item 30 is a recommendation with the concurrence of Tom Eigel, Interim County Administrator, to authorize the preparation and processing of record-only personnel actions for all eligible employees under the jurisdiction of the Board of County Commissioners to reflect the salary and wage increases based on merit performance evaluations and calculations as prepared for the evaluation period of 1/1/2017 through 12/31/2017, and further to direct all departments under the jurisdiction of the board to prepare the munis entries accordingly in and as it relates thereto, with the respective increases as outlined in the matrices, which is attached and made a part thereof, effective 12/18/2018. We have two separate motions between the Job and Family Services bargain for positions that Sandy just read and ours. And the difference is the dates. Their bargaining is on a calendar year, and we use pay date year.
Okay, do we have a motion to authorize the preparation and processing of the record-only personnel actions as contained in item 30?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sander, just a point of clarification on the motion. The date, the final date says 12/18/2018. Should that be 12/18/2017? The very last date listed in the motion?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So with that correction, Commissioners,
Say that again, Tom.
so that last date, it says,
218 or?
yeah, it says effective as of 12/18/2018. That should say 12/18/2017.
Yeah, we planned, but not that far in advance for 18.
Okay, with that correction. Do we have a motion to authorize the preparation and processing of the record of personnel actions?
I'll make that motion with the changes referenced by Tom Weigel.
Second with the corrections as noted.
Struble,
Yes.
Kane, Humphrey.
Aye? Thank you. Anything else?
We do have an add-on. Mr. Grabowski?
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning.
The add-on for today is a recommendation from myself, Wade Grabowski, Director of Facilities Management, with the concurrence of Mr. Thomas J. Eigel, Interim County Administrator, to acknowledge the issuance of Addendum Number 1, 2, and 3 to the plans and specifications for the construction of a record center facility for the County of Clermont, Ohio on 2/9, 2/12, and 2/13 respectively, and pursuant to and in compliance with Section 153.12 of the Ohio Revised Code, to extend the date of the bid opening therefore from 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, February 15th, 2018, until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, 2/22/2018, in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, Batavia, Ohio, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud shortly thereafter. This notice will also be posted on the Clermont County's website at the following URL link, www.clermontcountyohio.gov. Last Thursday was the deadline at 3 p.m. for any questions. The addendum went out on Friday with one minor point. The static pressure was not provided on the flow test on the fire hydrants. That information was received. We sent it out in addendum, or actually Debbie did, on Monday, because that addendum was within 72 hours of the original bid opening. Our prosecuting attorney said that we had to extend it. Okay. Apologize for that. We're a week delayed. However, we do have what we feel are a better set of questions. We were more able to clarify a few more things, so hopefully that'll pinpoint the pricing. And we still have a bidders list that is pretty extensive as far as what we think will be potential bidders.
And in our design includes them actually designing the fire protection.
That is
design.
correct.
So they absolutely had to have that. static.
Absolutely, they needed it.
Okay.
Wade, these, the bidder list, I guess they're from not just the region, but throughout the country? or-
Indianapolis, we have one from Illinois, we have one just south of Pittsburgh, a few from Kentucky. Regional, probably 75% of them are regional from Dayton, Columbus, and our area here. In my years, this was the most people that I've ever seen at a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting.
Did we do something different to get the message out there, or why? It's great
We-
to have so many people bidding on this.
Yeah, I think the project is a good project. It's a project that the dollar amount is just right in there for the folks that normally won't accept anything to that point, but it's also large enough for the big companies that it's going to, be something quick in and out for them. We call this a filler project, if you will. This is just something that they can make it a little extra profit on and still get the projects that they've already have scheduled for the year. And
This
it's
is-
pretty rapid.
This is perfect project size for small business construction
Right.
management companies
Sure.
throughout the United States.
Yeah.
If you're at that 17 to $27 million a year, this is right in your swing zone. So long.
Company's total
Yeah,
revenue.
if we advertise and it gets out beyond our state, they will come.
They will
No
come.
doubt about it.
Just like the ball field.
Yep.
Good.
All righty. Do we have a motion to acknowledge the issuance of addendum number 1, 2, and 3 as contained in the add-on?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Struble,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
So Wade, just
Thank
quickly,
you.
we advertise this on the same website or the same protocol we've always done, right? Okay. It wasn't like we did something different to get more people to.
Well, and I didn't answer your question, really. I know you had asked if we'd done something different. Really, the only difference is that we've done is we have an architectural firm that is very familiar with this type of construction. And in my opinion, I believe that they attracted a lot of these companies that were there, plus the dollar amount. As Commissioner Painter was pointing out, that dollar amount is very, very
attractive to these companies. But as far as locally, we didn't do anything differently. We used the same houses that hold it. We used the same electronic information. So I just think it was just a very attractive business. Hopefully we can have that in the future.
We've had a conversation about those advertising. A project of this size on the federal side of the house, they would put onto what's called fedbiz.com. Fedbiz goes throughout the United States. Unfortunately, states, no one's ever broached that subject, and states currently can't use that federal business publication network. So that was something that we might want to discuss with state representatives and
Sure.
see if they can open that avenue.
Well, we benefit. More people can bid on this. That's great.
Yeah, more competition you have, the better the
Better the
pricing's going to be.
Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have staff discussion or executive session next?
I would ask that the board consider moving staff discussion up in our order of business,
Okay.
Okay?
and I think we have.
Okay. Next is executive session. We have a need for executive session under 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment, discipline, promotion, and/or compensation of one or more public employees. Do we have a motion to go into executive session under that section?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. We'll be back. We're back from executive session. No motions were made or decisions made, and we have an add-on, I believe.
Sir, I'd like the board to consider a personnel action in the Information Systems Department for Jeff Weaver, cabling coordinator, leave disciplinary without pay. And this will be effective on 2/21 of 18 and 2/22 of 18. This is a 2-day suspension.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept that personnel action?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye. And it's now time for public participation. Now, we've reached that portion of our meeting in the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board? Yes, sir. During this time, the board does not answer questions or engage in debate. No member of the public may comment about matters that are not within the preview of the county commissioner's responsibility. The commissioners are not expected to comment or on matters brought to the board during this time. Each speaker will only speak once and shall be recognized by the president. In accordance with our board rules of procedure, your comments are limited to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Commissioner Humphrey. My name is Chris Hicks. I'm from 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45255. And I a little bit feel like I get read my Miranda rights whenever I'm here. But I appreciate it. Just a quick side comment. When you talked about Newtonsville, I thought that was very interesting. And I actually thought there were some really good comments. But I think one of the reasons why citizens get jaded on public input that I wrote down here is we tried it easy. Now we're going to try it hard. Right? And maybe we just need to start trying it honest from the beginning. So not bend the rules on approvals, treat everybody the same, treat them fair. Because I think people feel like sometimes they get asked for these public inputs, and then the next thing they know, it's like, why the hell did you ask me for public input? Because now you're going to force it on me, right? So I think we can have a new spirit. Now, what I'm here to talk about, though, is that you guys have an important responsibility. You've exercised it before. Back in 2012, you had the ability to change out the CVB board, which you still have. To get it to be the way you wanted it to be. And what I'm saying right now is you have two abilities. One is to change out the CVB board with people who are going to be for transparency and open up the books during that 5-year period from 2012 to 2018, in which Mr. Ubel described in his own email as he did a coup d'etat to take over the organization. That's one thing you have. $3.5 million went through there, 96% taxpayer funded. The citizens deserve to know how that money was spent. We already know that part of it was spent with Chris Smith, Mr. Ubel's former CEO and campaign manager and treasurer. We already know that part of that money was spent with Jim Komodeka, another business associate of Mr. Ubel's. But that's one option you have, replacing the CVB board. Second thing is you can stop the authorization of our current CVB being the CVB. You guys are the ones that determine who gets that money and who's recognized. You have the power of the purse. So if I go right down the line, I don't expect that Mr. Ubel would be supportive of either of these measures, switching out the CVB or stopping the authorization to get them to be transparent. I think he's got things to hide about how the money was used, to be frank. Mr. Humphrey, you told me in an email that you want to insist on it because you're a guy that doesn't interfere in private business. Well, this private business was taken over by the government. You were part of it when it happened. And this private business is 96% funded by the taxpayers. It's not a private business. It's nonsense. You have the power of the purse. You have a responsibility to the citizens. It's funny, one of my buddies, when I saw it, he says, I cannot believe anybody in government would give so much money to an organization without any accountability. It's shameful. Now, Commissioner Painter, I think I know how you feel, actually. And I'm hoping that you at some point take the opportunity to either make a public statement yourself that you support opening the books so the citizens can see where their $3.5 million went, or at least making a motion here on one of the two options you have legally that you could take using the power of the purse to force your colleagues to either second it or not and force there to be a vote up or down so the citizens can know who of our commissioners supports public transparency on a period of time where $3.5 million of their money was spent. I've been going around to townships. There's townships that are worried that if an engine blows out in their EMT unit, they don't have the money to replace it, including Ohio Township. $3.5 million is a lot of money. The idea that that has been given to an organization that we know was taken over in a coup d'etat, as described by Mr. Ubel in his own emails, and there is no accountability and there's no outrage from our elected officials that the money may have been misused. We know it was misused on some stuff. Shouldn't have been used on contracts for Comadaca. Shouldn't have been used on contracts for Chris Smith. So I would ask you all to move in the direction of not saying you support transparency, but actually supporting transparency and using your power of the purse. I appreciate the opportunity to bring this issue to your attention, and I hope to see some character-based action in the near future.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to present? Okay. That'll conclude our business for today. Is that correct?
Nothing else on the agenda, sir.
So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second?
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Humphrey.
Aye. Thanks for joining us, and God bless.